What is up, my dudes and my mom? Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Episode 7, I think. So we just got over here to this train station. This dude wanted us to like get all equipped in our gear. We got this aetheryte shard, or aetheryte. I guess it's not a shard; it's the big boy thing. And it looks like for the most part, we're kind of done in this area. There's some fates that we need to do, but what I'm thinking is, at least at this point anyway, that fate is gone. That was over here. What I'm thinking about is making our way back to Ul'dah for now, to kind of progressing our guild stuff. Like there's the Thaumatarge guild, the Pugilist guild, kind of progressing these two here that are back in Ul'dah. So I think that's what we're gonna do now, and then go from there. So with that, I think we're kind of at the point where everybody in the family is close to 9, either a 9 and 9.5. I don't think anybody's quite hit 10 yet. But the plan is to kind of stop there. Next time we'll pick up when everyone's ready around 9, so we can kind of continue to level at each other's pace. So with that, we're gonna keep it on, and I'm gonna hop back in my Discord channel with my family, and we'll just go from there. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna head back. I think I'm gonna head back to Ul'dah then, because I have potentially two quests over there to turn in. So that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna ignore the fates nearby me.
I feel like I do those, and then I don't really get much out of it, you know.
There is some purpose. I just don't know that that's necessarily now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I think most people suggest leveling just through the main quest and the main like side quest stuff. So just like focusing on those, like that's the focus of your character.
Yeah.
But once again, I don't know everything about this game. It's been a long time since I've played it, so.
Sure.
This zone is cool though. I like this Ul'dah zone, like outside the capital. It's really neat looking. Like you see the big castle, and then you see like all these giant cliffs and like all these giant monsters like outside. And it's just it looks cool as crap here in Ul'dah. I like this zone a lot.
Yeah, we're in
so
the
if I'm in the new Gridania place or whatever it is, and I just like go there and log out, that's where I want to be.
In Gridania?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, it's like the main part with the giant crystal.
Yeah, I mean, if you're there, yeah. Generally, like if you're in the safe zone, yeah. Like you'll have that. Was there like a moon icon or something like that tells you like you're in the rested area or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. I could exit without a countdown there, so maybe that's something.
I mean, generally, if you're in that area, you're okay. Like as long as you're just not logging out, like in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, I guess technically, I would have been in a safe place before because it was like a quest location. Like there was like a bunch of mobs.
Yeah, but I think the hub is different than the quest location.
Yeah. So
I think anyway. That, like I said, that could be me just not knowing, which is most likely the case.
I got a pee super bad, so I'm gonna get off then since I reached level 10.
That's disgusting. You reached level 10?
Yeah, that's how I got that. I got 2 new spells.
Oh, you reached level 10, so you're now the highest level character in the party.
It's probably the same level I am.
I'm just over a 10. I'm just over a 10.
Unbelievable. Ashley has over-leveled everybody now.
I have to be. It's I needed my magical healing abilities.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, me quests are done. I'm gonna get off. I'm about halfway.
I just hit 9. Just now hit 9.
I've been quiet this whole time.
You're 9? You guys are 9?
I just hit 9, Bren.
Brennan's at 8.
So I got a hot minute to get caught up to everybody else, because everybody else is pretty much further than it's just general 9 than you and I are. So it might end up being just Brennan and I catching up to everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys are so fast.
Well, I don't know what you're doing wrong, Bren, but I'm
literally level 8.
But it's taking me longer because I'm reading every little quest dialogue.
Jamil could switch over to his other account.
What's that, Ashley?
Jamil could switch over to his other account and play. Then, since I'm a 10.
No, it's fine. I would rather everybody stay close together, so like we can like hit those caps together at least. So I mean that
Okay,
makes
well, I
that
gotta
makes the
keep
most
them.
sense. So I mean
Okay,
it's fine.
well,
It's
I
fine.
gotta-
If Brendan and I are the ones who have to catch up, it's Brendan and I have to catch up. It's not a big deal. I mean it is what it is. Not a big deal.
I got
Once we hit 15 and everybody's 15, we can all actually like meet up at the same time and go do quests together at the same time. We won't have this problem because everybody will be kind of doing it together. You know what I mean?
It'd be cool seeing everybody's characters too.
Yeah, well, like I haven't
Yeah.
seen. I have no idea what. I have no idea what Ashley looks like. I have no idea what Trenton looks like. I have no idea what Brennan looks like. I have no idea what anybody looks like at this point, other than Jeremy. That's the only person I know what they actually look like. Like Ashley knows what I look like, and Jeremy knows what I look like, and Jamil, you know what I look like because you saw me editing and stuff. But
yeah,
but regardless, I haven't actually met anybody in game other than
I'm gonna go poop
Jeremy.
too.
So it'll be kind of cool to meet up and kind of like see what everybody's wearing
Yeah.
and stuff like that at that time. So yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Alright, I'm gonna get off. I gotta poop and pee.
Oh, that's
Alright.
gross. Okay, goodbye.
Alright, say bye bye. Love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
I'm gonna get off to go poop too.
Oh, gross! Oh,
These
everybody's
poopy
pooping.
people.
Yuck! What the crap? Everybody's pooping.
Bye.
Why's everyone pooping?
It's a pooping time.
My bowels are normal.
My bowels are on fire. I've got to poop.
Ah,
What other MMOs have you been playing lately?
Me?
Yeah.
Besides like RuneScape.
yeah, we were doing RuneScape.
RuneScape we took a break from. New World we started playing. Well, we've been playing, and we've been taking a break from that until they kind of changed some stuff. So it's what we've been playing. Brendan, that's a Brendan and I thing.
Yeah.
That one's fun. It just lacks some basic MMO. I got a puffy coat. Got a puffy coat. This is more protective. Look at me now. Oh my gosh, Mom, look at me. I got a puffy. I'm like I got a sweater on. Look at me. I'm a handsome man with an eye patch and a puffy coat.
I have an eye patch too.
No, listen,
Yeah.
you don't have an eye patch. Look at me. Hold on. I'm talking to Mom right now. Look at this crystal, Mom. See that crystal? Look how beautiful that crystal is. But you know what's more beautiful? This puffy coat that I'm wearing. Okay. Anyways, I got this new coat, and it's apparently way better than my other thing. Let's get to it then, shall we? Bet. Ore wagons pass through this valley every day.
You were saying?
I think one of my things that I've struggled most about with this game in my time of playing it, not this time, is so many people tell you gotta get through a Realm Reborn. You gotta get through that whole thing.
Yeah.
Once you
I
do,
heard.
it becomes like, I mean, I've heard so many people say once you get through it,
Yeah.
the game becomes a completely different game. It becomes like something that like is purely magical, and like
Yeah.
I haven't experienced it yet because like I give
Yeah.
up. I give up so quickly because like it's just hard. Like I said, I'm only level 9 right now. I've done all
Yeah.
these quests before. I remember doing this quest,
Right.
but like it's just.
People hype it up for sure. I've seen videos.
Oh, I know
of,
it.
like,
People. One of the
it's
best things people.
award-winning, all this
Oh, they
stuff,
love this.
like,
The storyline is one of the best things
Yeah.
people love about this game.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, y'all. Like,
But like the story just like at least at this point, like I'm like okay, it's
it's
you know that's what it
alright.
is. It's fine. You know,
Yeah.
it's not. It ain't been
I'm
great.
not
I haven't
captivated
loved
yet,
it
you
or
know?
nothing.
right.
But you know, I've been like, okay, you know, it's fine. I'll play it and stuff. I'm like just now, I'm like, it's fine. Like I remember doing this stuff. I remember some of the later stuff. And like, it's passable, but I feel like it's just a struggle to play through. Like, I feel like I'm not super involved in like the combat's harder because you have like a few skills. You feel like you're lacking an ability to like actually like, and actually lack an ability to like attack people. Like you feel like you're just like waiting so much.
Right.
And like I know that like it gets a little bit better. Like even just saying like hitting level 20 before. Like I know that it gets better. It does get better. But like people are like, okay, yeah, it gets better, but wait until you like get through the main quest, a Roman Born. Wait until you get through there. Wait till you get the Heaven Sword. It's way better. I'm like,
Right.
is it though? But I've
Yeah.
never made it to that point. I've always just stopped before I get to it.
Right.
So, but once again, like I said, I've never done it with people. I've always just done it by myself, and I just give up. I get to like 15,
Right.
20, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm doing this.
Level 15, really?
15 or 20 has been my typical, it's been the typical ending point for this game. I get 20, 15 or 20, then
Really?
I say I'm done.
You've never made it past that point?
The highest I had was 20. That's it.
Oh wow.
Level 20, and I stopped. So, at this point, like, I'm at level 9, or I guess I just hit 10. That's the highest I've ever gotten. Or, not the highest I've ever gotten, but it's like, it's the, first I've ever gotten on Gladiator, rather.
Right.
But it's one of those things where, heck is this? What is this icon now? Like I don't even know what the heck this icon is here. Oath gauge. Defensive stance of iron will's effect, which increases enmity. You can read it on this. Oh, actions and traits menu. That's interesting. So I got a new ability. But yeah, it's one of those things where I just
Right.
I've never really
mean,
found, never really
makes
found a
sense.
purpose to like pursue it further because
Right.
MMOs are a very social game. Like they're very social, and if it's just you, it's harder to do it. It feels like you're kind of playing an RPG without some of the social aspects of it. You know what I mean? So
For me, like just the way I like to play certain games, I like social games. Like I like the fact that certain things are massively multiplayer. Obviously, it's different if you're playing like a FPS, you know, MMO shooter or whatever. You're competing against other people. I like that. You know, it's different. In this context, though, like for me, it's like I more so care about like what's it like to actually like play the game. Like, is it fun to fight, you know, or craft and do some other things? Like certain games, like for example, like Genshin Impact. It's kind of like a pseudo single player game. You can
sure,
like
yeah.
meet up with other people, you know, in a party and things like that, and do domains, things like that. But the main problem for that game for me is that the grind, and the fact that with the story, even though it's kind of somewhat interesting, I can't skip at all. So I'm like it's like a battle of attrition going through all these side quests that you have to do before the main quest and all this stuff, and it's like so.
I think that's one of the things like the one like so like typically free to play MMOs, like games that like you don't have to, like, even if you have to buy it and then you don't have to pay for it, or you just download it for free. One of their biggest weaknesses is there's a big floating purple bird. What the heck is that? What the crap? Okay. Anyways,
It's all big scorpion.
I saw a big floating purple bird. That guy just landed there. All right. He's going to be a higher level than I am, I guarantee. Oh, he's level 90. All right. Anyways, I think one of the differences between typically a free-to-play or buy-to-play MMO that you'll see is that in a free-to-play or buy-to-play without a subscription model, one of the things you'll see the most frequent is that... Oh, what the heck is that? What the crap? It's a flying horse. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Anyways, what you'll see typically the most is like grinding for gear or leveling up, like getting the best gear, or you know, that crap is all very. It's very, very grindy in the free to play or buy to play MMOs. They anticipate you being able to just, hey, I bought the game and I don't have to pay a subscription fee for it, or I download it, I have to pay anything for it. So what they do is they make the grind for gear just obtuse. They make it so insane that you just have to focus on that. That's all it is. Not to say that a subscription-based model doesn't have that, but I don't think it's as severe as those other models. that's only reason why I think that Final Fantasy XIV has succeeded is because while it is subscription based, it does like expect you to play a game and then potentially subscribe to it. Is because the gear and the obtaining of that gear is not as insane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, do this. It's not as crazy, but you will get something for it. Like the reward is there, not necessarily immediately, but it's there. It's not too out of grasp. So, but again, that's just me playing very little. So I don't know how it is going to be later on, but that's just the vibe I've gotten. It seems to be very rewarding for what you've done. What you achieved. It says, "Oh, here, you did this. Go here. Here's the gear for you. Here you go."
I mean, what's been your experience with something like New World, for example, since you have a little bit more?
Well, like for New World, like Bren and I like have played New World. Like, what have we played, Bren? Like 200 hours, 200, 300 hours.
I can check. Hold on.
It's been
For me, it's 124 hours.
I think I'm close to 230 or 215 hours. Like New World's one of those games where it's fun. Like the action combat's great, feels good, but like it feels like, oh hey, I've got a queue for this dungeon and I've got to get this best gear and I might not get it because the party's not ready for it, and I feel like I'm like the RNG of it just feels like it feels bad. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it ends up feeling like it ends up feeling frustrating because you
Don't have good gear.
Because you already don't have good gear. Yes, you already don't have good gear to begin with. And that's like the first one it kind of anticipates you doing, right? It anticipates you going, hey, go here first. Like, Brent and I even like we kind of like farmed some decent decent gear to go off with it. But then like we got there and like we just felt like we weren't ready for it. But like the game never made me feel like I was going to be ready for it. I think that's one of my biggest frustrations with that one, for example, is the game never really prepared me for it. It just says, hey, you're level 60 now, go to this dungeon. It never really taught me what I needed to do to get to that dungeon, right? It just said, hey, here you go, you're hit that level, go for it. And that stuff just like makes me upset because I feel like the game should like. I heard someone one time say that MMOs in general or games in general should teach you what to expect within the game. It shouldn't be a guide that takes you to a PDF or a guide that takes you to a video and teaches you. It should be something that teaches you while you play the game.
Right.
And with New World, it's one of those games where I think that you had to learn while you played it, which isn't always a problem. But it expects a lot from you, and if you don't have a lot of time to just study it, it just feels frustrating. The action combat is a nice thing because it is forgiving because you can like make mistakes and you can build around it. But if you can't, if you're unfamiliar with that play style or you're trying to learn a class, like. Bren, what is your role in New World? What kind of role do you play?
Not really sure.
What weapons?
Because I have bad gear.
What weapons do you use?
Isn't the nature of the world like it's very fluid?
It's very fluid. It's very fluid, and I do like that. I do like that there's not a specific thing. You don't pick a class, and that's what you play. I like that the class is tied, or the playstyle is attached to the weapon. So, Bren, what weapon do you typically use when we play?
Great Axe and Blunderbuss.
Great Axe and Blunderbuss, which are both what kind of weapons? What is your stat bonus towards both of those?
Blunderbuss is kind of like range damage, and then the Great Axe is close.
But what do they both focus on in terms of damage versus or strength and intelligence and constitution? What do they both focus on that benefits you?
Strength.
So one of the things that the weapons do, they both have strength in common. So Brennan has built his character to be strength oriented, right? But because of that, it just feels like it feels like there's not a really defined thing. And for me, like sometimes I like the ability of having a defined role, So what else? What I'll use it as a perfect example to me is most games have a holy trinity, right? They have they have a the healer,
Mage,
damage, and tank.
warrior, yeah.
That's what they have, right?
Mhm.
That's their whole gist. So whenever a game doesn't have that aspect, it's a little bit hard to balance around. One of the games I think has done the best on that has been not really your traditional, like, hey, the gladiator and the warrior or the marauder or whatever are the tank.
Right.
That's what it is. That's what it is. The only game I think has done a good job of kind of balancing that and explaining that has probably been Guild Wars 2, where there's not a traditional tank, the traditional Trinity thing, where it's like, hey, this is your class, this is what you're playing. They don't have that in that game. It's just like, hey, the quote unquote paladin class is more of a support role. Hey, the warrior class is more of a damage dealer / frontline damage dealer type role. But there's no traditional, like, hey, you hit this button and it makes everybody hate you. It's just like, hey, right, they've done a good job of making themselves feel different. And that's where I feel like New World, for example, lacked their roles plan, right? They didn't have something that made you feel like you were the tank, or you were the damage dealer, or you were the support. They just, like, I know a lot of people complained about being like a healer. They didn't know, like, why am I playing a healer? What am I doing? What am I bringing to the party by being a healer? What is it? There was just no upfront thing that said, hey, this is what you get for being a healer. Like, it's not there.
Right.
Once again, like, that's me speaking from inexperience. I got to level 60.
Sure.
Brian and I tried to do our first dungeon, and we just felt like it was too much of a struggle because I didn't know, even if somebody who was trying to play a tank, right? I was trying to play a tanky role. I didn't know what my role was as an off tank. Like, what do I use here? What kind of skills do I use? When do I use it? The game never told me or explained to me, hey, if you want to play this type of class, this is what you do.
Right.
It's just lacking there, like when I played Guild Wars 2, I played what's it called? What the heck was that class called? What was it called? I played Necromancer primarily. Necromancer was one of my favorite classes, because it was just like, hey, you gotta summon everything, and that's what I wanted to play. Besides that, I played Guardian, which was one of those classes that, like, basically your job was to protect the party. So it was more of a support class, less of a tank class. But that's kind of what you expected to do. You had to support your party. You had to, like, clear debuffs on them, put shields on them. That was your kind of role. And that's why, in the end, because of that game, I ended up playing Necromancer. Because, like, I want to play a guy who's hard to kill. And in most games, that's a tank, right? That's not necessarily Necromancer, But in that game, that's how Necromancer was. It was like, hey, you got all these minions. You got a bunch of health. You're hard to take down. Yeah. You don't necessarily, like, kill people really quick, or clear debuffs on you, but you do survive. That's why I selected that class. But it's just one of those things where I think that game did a good job of making the combat different and making classes feel different, and making it like, hey, just because you're, that was another part, right? Is playing like a Guardian, and you played let's say you played a Guardian, right? And you played a Guardian with a sword, or a Guardian with a two-handed hammer. That playstyle completely changed versus a Guardian with a sword and shield, or a Guardian with a sword and focus, or whatever the heck it was called. That changed your entire playstyle based on that weapon you selected. Like, you would, if like you picked a Guardian with a scepter or a staff or whatever the heck it was called, you were no longer like a tank. You were more of a support class. You basically said, hey, I'm picking this weapon, I'm gonna play this type of role then. And that's where that game did a good job on the whole weapon chooses your
Right.
play style, if that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, that's one of the reasons I enjoyed that game a lot, is because it was just like, hey, there were so many options to how you could play. It just made everything feel very unique. Like, you could have two guardians in a party, one that was using the staff, one that was using the hammer, and one that was using a greatsword. You could have that entire playstyle was completely different then, right? That's where New World lacked, right? It lacked in that. Like, hey, if I was trying to play a sword, like a two-handed sword and a two-handed hammer, I was basically the same person to the guy next to me. There was nothing different. Nothing different. Because that's how I expected to play. Guild Wars is like, hey, you can play a two-handed sword and, a scepter build, and you can expect this type of playstyle, and you can make something unique. They wanted that, but they didn't have it, or don't have it quite yet. I'm not saying they can't get there. I think they can get to that unique playstyle. It just, the struggle with games that don't have the Holy Trinity I feel like lack in a sense of purpose. A purpose of like, hey, how do I play this game? How do I decide what I want to be? Like, I knew right away when we decided to play this, I want to be a tank. And I knew I needed to be a gladiator, a marauder, a dark knight, or a gunzerker, or whatever the heck it's called. Like, I knew those were the classes I wanted to play. I knew right off the bat what I wanted to do and what classes to choose. So that's nice. That's nice. It's nice to have that structure. Sometimes you don't have that, and that's okay. But there needs to be some level of planning involved, I guess. Not just like, oh, I don't know if this class is going to do this.
Right.
Or if this weapon's going to do this. Like, is this hammer going to be CC, or is it going to be tank?
Right.
Just, like, that stuff's it's just frustrating, in my opinion. So, now you've heard me rant for 10 minutes, and I don't even
No,
play.
it was good. It was insightful.
It's just,
I was curious.
that in my opinion, so far, the difference has been between the traditional MMO versus the action combat versus like the untraditional, like, hey, there's no set role. What has worked versus what has not worked. WoW has been like, hey, you're playing this class, this is your purpose. You're not playing this class, this is not your purpose. It has worked. Not to say that you can't deviate from that role and play something else, but you've got to do it right. You've got to do the Guild Wars way, or you got to do the Elder Scrolls Online way. You got to be like, hey, you're playing this type of class, this is what you play. So there's ways to do it right, and there's ways to do it wrong, and I think that New World has probably not done it the best out of the ones I've played recently. So,
But I mean, they've been working on it, so.
yeah, they've been working on it. They've made good strides towards it. I think they're getting there. It's just they're not there yet. There's work to be done.
Yeah, because it's a new game. Do you agree?
It's a new game. They're trying to figure it out themselves. But there's some work to be done. That's all.
Good. They seem to be still working on it. I know they had a rocky start.
Oh, sure, 100%, yeah.
It was like really
Rocky New World.
Rocky New World. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop this episode here, I think, because it's like 11:30. So
Yeah, I almost got to 10, so.
I hit 10, so I'm gonna stop here.
Yeah, I'm also 11 on this account.
Holy moly!
Already?
Yeah, I'm in some kind of dungeon-looking area.
Alright, you're banned.
I don't think it's a dungeon, but
I'm at the next train track, so I think we're good here. So I'll stop here, and I'll pick up the next main quest, because there's a main quest right now. I did a side quest right beside me, so I did that one, but I've got to do the main quest right beside me, so it's one I'll probably have to read next. So I'm gonna probably break off here, do my outro, and then pick up next time.
sounds good.
All right, give me 1 second here. Alright, so with that little rant that I did on MMOs and that Jamil made me talk about, I think I'm gonna stop here at this little railroad here. That's level 10. We'll keep on. We'll probably figure out this whole thing a little bit more. A little bit tired and sleepy, but we'll figure out this stuff a little bit more later. And kind of go from there. But I think what we're at now is we got some stuff over here. We still gotta go back to Ul'dah and do some stuff over there. West of Thanalin, we gotta go there. So we got some stuff ahead of us, but I think we're making good progress. We're not too far back. Okay. Anyways, we're not too far back. We gotta kind of narrow some stuff down here, and next time we'll talk to Zuzumeta. That's probably it. Zuzmeta, and we'll talk to them, and we'll kind of get that whole quest going on. Be nice to have a shield, but you know, hey, it is what it is. We're making our progress. We're having some family time and discussing different things, but at this point, I think we're gonna call it here and go on next time. So, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, Mom, for watching, and I'll pick up in the next one. See ya.